The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good morning, everybody. This is Tina with MParks. I wanted to thank you all for joining us today. Just a few technical things. All of the attendees are on listen only, so you are muted. You are unable to speak, but we will be monitoring the chat box and the question box throughout. So if you have any comments or have any questions, feel free to type them in there. We've got three presenters today, so we'll try to answer questions at the end of each of the three presenters, and then maybe there will be a little bit of time at the end to get to the rest of them. But I'm going to turn it over to Lori Irwin right now to get us started.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. We know that your time and energy are pretty precious today, so we're going to dig right in and hand it over to our presenters. Our objective today is to share ideas and resources for virtual camp programs. And we're lucky enough to have three different communities who have different types of programs. They're at different stages of development. So I think we're going to see some really great ideas I'm excited about. And I want to thank our three presenters. They've worked really hard and volunteered to come in today. So we have Tammy Likovich from Clinton Township, Bobby Wilson from Sterling Heights, and Karen Hardenbrook from the Neighborhood Club of Grosse Pointe. So Bobby's going to get us started and kind of talk about their origin story and the overview of how they all work together. So I'm going to just turn it over to her and let her get rolling.
All right, good morning, everybody. I guess I first want to begin with how this all began, where Play Where You Stay came from. Play Where You Stay, the name came from Tammy. Thank you very much for providing that to the group. But what took place, and I get to start with my personal story, but what took place on April 15th, I was notified by our director, Kyle Langlois, that we were no longer going to be offering a summer camp program in Sterling Heights. The following day, Thursday, the 16th, we had we have weekly meetings with NERPA just to kind of see where everybody's at throughout the process of programming and closing sites and facilities down, things of that nature, just so we all can kind of stay on the same page. That day I shared to the group that, you know, what was happening, and it seemed like everybody was either in that boat or getting very close to going to get in that boat with me. The following week we had a NERPA meeting on the 23rd of April, and at that point in time a lot more people had a sense of what was taking place and what was happening. Following that meeting, I actually Kara called me, or I called Kara, one way or the other, and we started talking a bit, and I said, man, Kara, it just seems like we're all going to be trying to do the same type of thing. Wouldn't it just be something if we could join together as an organization and put on a camp, a virtual camp together, pull the best of what everybody offers into one package and present it to our individual communities? So that kind of started, you know, the ball rolling a bit, and we reached out to a few key people in the NERPA organization that we know run very strong camps. And we started working through the details of if Play Where You Stay was going to be something that we could provide as a regional group to all of our communities. On my slide here. All right. A couple of the issues that as a group we had to discuss and decide were our program dates, times, and ages. As a group, we were able to set some dates. We determined what our time frame would be and what our target age group would be, knowing that each individual organization would have some flexibility on that age group requirement. We also came up with a daily schedule, what our day looked like, how we were going to break out the schedule for the day for the camp kids. And that is going to be something that I'll share with you here just in a moment as well. Actually, I can go to that slide here, I think. Whoops, sorry. It's this slide here. Sorry, I'll go back here in a moment. But yeah, this is kind of a sample lesson plan that we came up and how we were going to present our camp. We decided that we were going to go June 29th through August 6th, a Monday through Thursday program. And then we would use Fridays for brainstorming and talking about what worked, what didn't work, get our tapings done on Fridays. But what we were looking at is having a theme for every day, along with a daily challenge for the kids. The intent was we would do a Zoom meeting in the morning, or Zoom or Facebook Live, whichever platform. We did discuss a variety of different platforms in the very beginning there, that we would connect with our campers as an individual department once in the morning and then also again in the afternoon, just to kind of go over the schedule for the day, do some interactive games with our kids. And then following that, we would roll into every half hour, we would roll into a different activity. Our thought was with that half hour of programming that we'd really probably plan on programming like 20 minutes so that it would give kids time to transition into the next activity. So anyhow, so there's an idea of what our sample schedule was going to look like. But going back here, we also understood and addressed that if we were going to support this as a regional group, that we did have to include the departments that didn't have true camp programs. For instance, Shelby Township doesn't have a camp program, but they have an amazing nature center. The Outdoor Adventure Center doesn't have a camp program because they host all of us for our field trips in our camps. So what we were going to do with those folks is make them guest stars, where they could submit content that we would be able to plug into our schedules, and then they would still be able to be a part of what we were trying to put on for the regional area. We did determine our platform to present. I do believe that we ended up going with Zoom. NERPA actually purchased a Zoom package for us to use to put this camp on. At the time, we determined the fees to charge, and we talked about the budgetary needs for each department, because what I need to do in Sterling Heights is very much different than what Clinton Township needs to do and what the neighborhood club needs to do. So our initial meeting, we put all this together. There was, like I said, the key people that we were working with. There was about 8 of us at the table at the time, and then we did present all that out to the group as a whole through NERPA. Where we ended up is that we would, because everybody's issues were so different from one another and so unique, we were not able to just decide or determine that we were going to be able to put this on as a regional group. But what we did decide is that we would operate independently through our own communities and departments, but we would all operate under the same name, the Stay Where You Play, a NERPA toolbox for virtual camps. As you see the logo there in the corner, that was a logo that was produced by our marketing committee on NERPA. We would share all of our resources through a toolbox that would be maintained by NERPA through our Google Drive. We are all inputting information and resources for each department to use. So like I said, we're still able to use the best of what everybody offers. It's just in a little bit of a different format. Departments are still in the process of determining how their camps are going to lay out for the summer. Like I said, I was one of the very first ones in the area to know that my camp wasn't going to take place and that we were going to go virtual. So we've already begun our marketing, but everybody else is still in, some are still in the surveying stage, some are in the early planning stages. It just, everybody's laying things out a little bit differently right now. And the biggest thing that really we had to work through here was that the budgetary needs for every department varied too much between the communities, that we just weren't able to set one set fee that would work for everybody across the board. So this was kind of a happy medium for us all, where we still are going to have access to all those resources. We're still presenting the platform under the same name within our region, but everybody had the flexibility to kind of do it on their own. And like I said, as I did include here, I'll put this back up again, the sample lesson plan. But at this time, I kind of want to turn it over to Tammy and Kara to add anything there in that beginning stages that we discussed that maybe I left out.
I think you covered it. I think the whole
the whole picture was we were all trying to find a way to work together. Again, we're all doing the same things, even if it has to be done differently, city to city, department to department. We wanted to find a way to support each other through that time. So the happy medium, like you're saying, that we came up with was to share our resources, share, you know, great videos, those trivia questions and setups, bingo cards, any resources we have, having that spot to share them, and then still having that connection. We're still going to do those meetings and catch up on Zoom and see how camp's working for everyone and support each other in that way. It's really just a way to make sure that we all can kind of get through this in whatever way it has to work in each community.
We did just have a question about fees and how long the camps each day are, but I think each of you are going to cover that individually in your programs. So we will definitely get to those questions for you as they each move through. Thank you.
Kara, did you have anything you wanted to add to that? All right, well, that kind of gives you an overview then of kind of where we started with the Play Where You Stay movement. And I'm going to go ahead now and roll right into what Sterling Heights is doing. Like I said, we did start our marketing and promotion on Monday. I'm going to go ahead and begin with our marketing video.
Play Where You Stay.
Presented by Sterling Heights Parks and Recreation.
June 29th through August 6th.
We will be offering weekly programming Monday through Thursday.
Designed for children ages 6 to 12 years old.
Real-time interaction with camp staff.
Craft projects.
Interactive games. Bingo!
Fitness and sport activities.
Daily themes and challenges.
Join the fun.
Join the fun.
Come join the fun.
Play Where You Stay. Presented by Sterling Heights Parks and Recreation.
Sign up now for Play Where You Stay.
And go to our registration button and access our online programs, and you will see our Play Where You Stay program listed under camps. At that time, just register for the location nearest to you. All right, that was, like I said, that was a marketing piece that we rolled out on Monday to our residents and also our past participants, just to kind of give them a, we wanted to give Play Where You Stay a personality. We needed to give it a face. We needed to give people an idea of what type of activities we were going to be offering. The individuals featured in that video are actually my playground coordinators from last year, who will also be part of the staff this upcoming year. So kind of give you an overview of a program that we are offering. We did stay with the June 29th through August 6th schedule, Monday through Thursday. We are going to run camp from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. We will take a break for lunch from 12 to 1, but we are going to have our activity at 11:30 will be a lead out activity. For instance, what's going to happen like at 11:30 is we may do a video link or a recording from the Outdoor Adventure Center, which would, you know, do an educational component, but would also provide them with an activity to do outside during the lunch break. So our whole idea with that 11:30 time slot is to kind of lead into the lunch break, where we're encouraging them to go outside and participate in some type of an activity or challenge. Our normal camp would be a 5-year-olds to 14-year-olds, but with Play With You Stay, Play Where You Stay, sorry, we decided to go with 6 to 12. The main reason for that was because of our craft activities. We thought that the 5 to 14 was too big of a range to try to really hone in on that a good craft activity for that age group. Generally, when we run a live camp, when we're in person, we have 2 different crafts going on, one for the younger, one for the older. So we did have to adjust our ages a little bit because of that. We are still we run normally 8 campsites. So we are still asking the kids to register for their original campsite where they would have normally signed up if we were running summer playgrounds. And we're doing this to ensure that the group activities will be with When we're doing our Zoom calls, they'll recognize some of their neighborhood kids, maybe kids they went to school with. So there'll be an immediate connection there. So we still allow for that opportunity for socialization, building the friendships, and making new friends that may be right there in their neighborhood that they could do some activities and things with once our stay-at-home orders are lifted. The fees that we are charging are $40 for the residents of Sterling Heights and $52 for non-residents. Our normal camp would have run $122 and I believe $178. Included in the pricing, we are going to be giving weekly supply kits, which will have all of the supplies that they need for any of the craft activities, any of the STEM projects that we're working on. In our marketing information, we did let people know that they may need to supply some household items such as an empty toilet paper roll, an empty water bottle, things of that nature to complete some of the crafts, but everything else that we are going to be giving them. In that pack, we'll also have our schedule for the week, our interactive games, our themes and challenges, so everything, including the pricing, you know, be that supply kit, the interactive meetings, with staff, which will happen twice a day at the beginning and the end, the projects, the sports fitness activities, games, and daily themes and challenges. Our weekly supply kit, like I said, going into a little bit more with that, will be the craft and STEM projects. In addition to that, we're going to provide them step-by-step instructions for the project with a photo of what the completed piece should look like. Our hope is to actually we're going to pre-record some of the craft projects, but we're actually, depending on the size of the groups, we're hoping to actually go live with some of the craft projects as well. Also in their kit, we're going to provide some worksheets, schedules of events for the upcoming week, and then all necessary links and passwords for access. Our first week supply kit, because not everybody, I mean, we know that technology is an issue and that not everybody has a smartphone or a home computer or whatnot. I mean, we obviously are going to need one device in the household to be able to have the kids participate in this program. But our bingo games that we play require 2 devices. Our Kahoot trivia games also require 2 devices. So what we're going to do is we're going to provide them hard copies of the bingo boards. So if they don't have a second device, they could still play bingo. Kahoot has colored cards with shapes on them, so we're going to supply them with those cards. So if we play Kahoot trivia, that through Zoom they could actually just hold up the card that corresponds with what they think is the right answer, so they wouldn't need that second device if need be. And then in addition to that, we're going to have summer fun supplies. We're going to give them bubbles and chalk and markers and crayons, so we're going to try to cover some beach balls. Everybody's going to get a pool noodle because we have several fitness activities that we can do with a pool noodle. So we're going to supply a lot of that basic stuff that first week, so they have other activities to do as well. So it'd be kind of like a summer fun kit. Our supply kits will be picked up at our community center on Fridays. We're working with Utica Community Schools with their Meet Up and Eat Up program. They're currently serving about 1,200 families a day. That's Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So we are going to have the supply kit pickup be on the Fridays. So if they're coming for the meal program, then they can just get their kit at the same time. And they right now with the meal program, they pull up, open the trunks, and everything's put in. So that's what we're planning to do with the activity kits or supply kits as well. And now we will also make other arrangements should somebody not be able to come during that time. Some of the behind the scenes stuff that I'm working with is we have a total operating budget of for this summer program of $18,700. Now my normal budget for camp is over $100,000. So you'll see that we're significantly decreasing that. We will be able to recover some of our costs and registration fees, but really we're hoping to just recover all the supply expenses that we're putting out. I normally run 600 to 800 kids a summer with this program, so we can still make sure that we're having those personal relationships and connections. We'll be running about a maximum of 200 kids. We're looking at 25 per site for the 8 sites. Our staffing is normally at 40. I'm running this staffing plan with 3 summer playground coordinators, those 3 individuals you saw in the video with me. I have 1 video production staff person who will be editing and compiling all of our videos, and then also myself. Our timeline, marketing promotions, as I said, began on Monday. We are doing marketing through Facebook posts, direct emails to past participants, video links. We did include this video link in our email to our past participants, so if they didn't see it on Facebook, at least they could kind of get a feel for what we were doing. Cable television, local news resources. In addition, the Meet Up and Eat Up program at Utica Community Schools is also passing out flyers for us. My staff will begin work on June 15th. The week of the 15th and the 22nd, we will do all of our weekly lesson planning, and tapings will take place between that time for the first 3 weeks of the program, we're hoping. All 3 of my coordinators are school teachers. So obviously they have huge responsibilities right now in trying to maintain their classrooms. So we've elected not to really do a whole lot of planning until they're done with their full-time jobs. In the meantime, though, what we've been doing is we created what's called a staff parking lot. And what we're doing is, as we see ideas or gather ideas, we're throwing them in the parking lot. So in our parking lot, we have categories for themes, challenges, interactives, weekly events, activities and games, fitness, exercise, and miscellaneous. And on my next couple slides here, I'll quickly show you what our parking lot examples are for our interactive activities. And then once again, as we discussed earlier, we will utilize Fridays during the program to meet with other organizations to review what's working, review internal programming, do tapings, and prepare links and supplies. We'll be preparing on Friday for 2 weeks out because we do pass out the boxes on Friday. Platform that we're going to be utilizing is Zoom. We're going to be doing interactive meetings at the first half hour of the day and also at the last half hour of our day. Each staff member will be assigned 2 campsites, which will be a maximum of 50 kids. We're using a Google Drive, a shared Google Drive for our parking lot ideas, and department website will provide for activity links, as will be password protected, and parent communications. These next couple of slides here are just examples of our parking lot for our interactives. Now, these are all things that we can do with our kids in an interactive environment. I mean, and we plan to incorporate all these type of activities at open and at close to try to, you know, have that feel of camp where we're actually doing an activity. So you'll see that, you know, just a little bit of everything. And if you have any specific questions on anything, I'll be more than happy to answer those. But my favorite one that we found was the Mad Grab Scavenger Hunt. You kind of set it up tournament style, where you pit kids against each other. You tell them to go find a button and run it back. So they have to run out in their house, find a button, bring it back to the screen, and you kind of do it like the NCAA tournament, and you knock out till you get down to your last couple of players. So I thought that was kind of neat. One other component that I did want to mention real quickly is that we are going to be also providing some live performances to our camp kids. Carrie and Paul Group is been working with some of their entertainers that they book to coordinate with them, either to do live performances or taped performances that we could share with our kids. So there would be an entertainment component to camp as well. In closing, I have just my contact information here. That's my cell phone, my personal cell phone number. By all means, if you wanted to talk to me directly about something, you'd certainly could do so. And I do believe I'm 1 minute over my time. So I'm going to turn it over to Tammy.
I'm going to jump in just real quick, Bobby. We had a couple of questions on the chat.
Okay.
One was looking at if your fee was a weekly fee or if that was a whole summer fee.
That is our fee for the entire summer.
Okay. And then a question about if you're charging per child or per household, and are you going to allow campers to share computers and that sort of piece?
We are charging per child just because of the supply kits. So if they want to make sure that they have enough supplies for them to participate in all the craft projects and the STEM projects, they need to register by child, but if they choose to just do one registration and have the 3 kids participate, then they're going to be, you'll have to rotate who does the craft project. So that's kind of how we set that up. We knew that there'd be shared technology out there, but we did it based on the supply kits. So
awesome. And then there is one last question. I think we'll hold this one to the end so everyone can address it, but I just wanted to make sure whoever submitted it saw it, about gauging the potential interest level in virtual camps. And maybe we can address that at the end when everyone's had a chance to kind of go through their programs, if that's okay with everybody.
sounds
Okay,
good.
cool. So thank you, Bobby, so much. That was amazing, amazing, good stuff. So let's turn it over to Tammy.
All right. Okay. Oh, of course I did. Give me 1 second. Let me get back to the beginning here. Okay. So just to start off, I want to give a little background on kind of where we're coming from, what our typical summer and situation looks like. So again, I'm Tammy with Clinton Township Recreation. We're a community of about 100,000 residents. We are the 10th largest community in the state of Michigan. Our summer programs typically register over 1,000 kids combined. We use over 100 teen volunteers every summer, hire 60 seasonal staff, and we typically run with 5 full-time. That's 4 recreation professionals and our wonderful office manager. To break that down a little more, we operate 9 day camp sites, 2 CDBG sites, so that's just community development block grant locations that are free for participants. We have 1 adaptive recreation location and an early childhood program. Typically our program costs $89.50. That's for the whole summer. So when we were talking in the beginning of how everyone has different budgeting and program requirements, we were definitely at the low end of that. So that's our typical, and day camp is our largest revenue source. We bring in about $100,000 every year, give or take on registrations. So and we've had questions on how do we gauge interest. We, on top of Corona and everything, we have also had some change in staffing. So our director, Frank Pizzo, retired while we were in stay home quarantine. And Brian Kay is our new director. So his first day on the job was, working remotely. And his first major task was deciding what we were going to be doing, what programs we could run, and what was safe for our community. So we wanted to make sure we had good data and information to base all of our decisions on. So we started with a survey. Our survey went out. We used our database, social media, kind of the normal platforms to get the information out there. When I pulled this information, we had about 750 responses. For these questions that you're seeing on the screen, I filtered it. So our survey went out to the full community. I filtered these so we have just our recreation families. I didn't need to know what senior center participants really cared about summer day camp or not. So these questions, these 3 right here, I filtered the responses so we had information based on our recreation families. So to start, who in your household would benefit from online programming? We wanted to know who's our target market, who's going to actually use this stuff. This line here, kids ages 6 to 14, that's perfect for us. That's day camp age. That's our bread and butter right there. So our target market hit right on. Plus our other usuals, kids ages 5 and under. Our early childhood program is huge. And adults, that's obvious for online programming. So we're going to make sure to hit all of those markets when we go to program. Shockingly, so would your household be interested in an online program? We had almost 70% of households say no. We think a lot of this came down to, situationally. People are going through homeschooling right now and trying to figure out virtual schooling. They're trying to figure out what summer looks like. When can they get outside? They're sick of being in. So part of it is just the wording of the question. We didn't take this as they don't want information because, again, who in your household would benefit from online programming? Majority is our day camp age. So we didn't take that as a no. We just took it as how are we going to position our program? Because then the last one that I have on here, who or would you or your family be interested in purchasing craft or activity kits? And that was almost 60% said yes. So we think they do want programs and materials. They also want tangible things. So we had to use this information to figure out what our board would support. Again, we have a new director. We're kind of moving forward into unknown territory, like all of you. What would the community support? That's what we're trying to figure out. And what can we support? Because again, if they say they want things, we have to be able to pull that off. We can't just provide or hope that we can provide programs. We have to know what can we really do. So next thing we did is we got brave and we went to the comments section. So comments, they can be hard for some people to read. We actually send out evaluations after every program or event that we run. We want to know what worked, what didn't. So we're really good at looking at these comments that might be viewed as negative and turning them into something resourceful. And for this, it's easy because we didn't send this out saying, how do you like a program that happened? We're saying, what do you want from us? What can we provide to you and what do you need? So some of the things that we got back are, you know, what you would kind of expect. What's the point if it still has to be supervised by an adult? There's too much screen time. We want these kids outside playing. I need a scholarship. One big thing for us, our day camps. So even at that price of $89.50 for the summer, 25% of our participants are funded by community development block grants or internal scholarships, and they go to our programs for free. So it's really hard, you know, when we're looking at all of these webinars and everything, people are talking about pricing and, oh, go at half your regular cost, go at 25%, whatever that metric may be. We have a big chunk of our participants already attend for free. So now we're providing them material with no childcare, and it's hard to say we got to charge money for that now. So just that. And then we did have a lot of positive comments, a lot of thank you for continuing offering programming. Thanks for trying it all. We had a lot of comments of people just grateful that we were asking for input, just wanting, you know, like grateful to have a spot for them to say how they want it to go. You know, we're in a world right now where everyone's told, stay home, do this, don't do that. Having a spot for them to just let us know what they want was really kind of taken well by them. So this is kind of what we turned it into. Give me a second, I'm blocking my own image here. Okay, so our summer, this one, sorry. Okay, so summer 2020 for us, what it's gonna look like. Clinton Township Recreation is still gonna be here. We're gonna have crafts, game, contests. We're gonna be there to keep people connected, doing what we always do. We wanna be making those memories that are gonna last a lifetime. Pending budget approval, we are hoping to provide free virtual camp. We are going to be using kind of activity kits. We're going to be using GoToMeetings. I know we talked about Zoom earlier. Our IT department actually relies stronger on GoToMeetings, so we're going to be using that as our platform. Facebook groups, and then different apps. Like we're trying out Marco Polo apps with our staff and going to see what works and what doesn't. We are going to try to generate some revenue, again, to cover supplies and stuff by doing add-on packages for shirts and activity packs. And our goal is for our program to run July 6th through August 6th. Again, we're waiting for approval before we can go firm with that, but that's our goal. So important things that we are doing right now to make sure that this program can go and make sure that we're kind of prepared for launch. We are building up our virtual resources and programs. So we launched a virtual rec center on our website, and it just has free links and resources for our families, and it's broken down into different categories for what they can do. We are trying to keep up the community engagement. Again, just like all of you guys, it's important to stay relevant, stay connected, and make sure that the families remember that we're here for them. So keeping the community engagement up, and we're also surveying our staff. So we are keeping on, we're pretty lucky, we get to keep on about 12 staff this summer, and they're going to be broken up into, some of them are going to be working on our virtual content, and some are going to be helping us to get the supplies ready, doing some packing, doing some cleanup, and backup work like that, or background work. But we're surveying that because we want to know who's comfortable in front of a camera. Different than that, who's comfortable going Facebook Live. Do they have any hobbies? Do they have any skills, anything that they can teach? Or is there anything that they envision themselves running as a virtual program, because this is totally different. I know my staff, they're returning people. I know who's really good at leading dodgeball and who's really good at leading a craft. In a virtual world, they might have different skills available. So we're just kind of trying to get that information to see what we can provide. We're preparing our virtual orientations. We are definitely a policy community. We do an employee handbook every year. We get about 100 pages that's updated annually to hand out to our staff. So now we're trying to figure out what's important in the virtual world and what we're going to put together to present to them to make sure that they know the policy and procedures that's there to protect them and to keep all of our participants safe. So we're working on getting that all set up. Ordering equipment, making sure we have cameras, microphones, backdrops, scenery, supplies for the kids in those activity packs, and getting our studio set up. As a sample of what a typical day will look like, this is our goal. This is a slide that we made to use for staff training. So this is a sample day. We want to break it up into 3 categories. So we are going to have live from Steiner Studios. That's where we're going to be doing all of our filming. Our live programming, we are, again, going to try to keep those basic, you know, either 9 or 10 until 2 p.m. Monday through Thursday. So 9 a.m. every day, we want to do like a Facebook Live, get them going with those morning announcements, let them know what the daily challenge is, that kind of stuff. Just get them ready for the day. If we do that Facebook Live, it's there and recorded, whether they're there at 9 a.m. or not. So if they get started at 10, that's fine. The 10 and 2 o'clock, those times may change daily, or we may decide to keep them. But we want to have 2 or 3 live interactive sessions. So this one I did a gimme, 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 and games. That's just a game that we play on the day camp sites already. And then 2 p.m. just some sort of like Disney trivia. Then we want to end our day with some sort of interactive thing that's maybe not staff heavy. So a Facebook poll or something like that. Have them vote on pieing a staff member. Have them, you know, give some input on what craft they want to do, or maybe post pictures from something they did through the day. So some sort of interactive game or activity or something for them to be involved with that we don't have to be there for. Our middle section, get out and play. Our survey was strong on parents want them out doing things. They don't want them sitting in front of a screen. So every day our lesson plan or schedule is going to include a variety of resources for them to just go play on their own. And this is something where our virtual rec center might have links and videos. So maybe we have a craft in this and we get them the supplies and stuff in those activity kits that we're upselling. And our virtual rec center has a video already with someone completing that craft. And then again, like Bobby said, our kits are going to include step-by-step directions and how to do this stuff. But this section is also going to be for those outdoor challenges. Go chalk your walk, go do a photo scavenger hunt in a park. I put Marco Polo fitness dice on there. That's, again, something that we still have to test out with staff to see if it'll work. But Marco Polo, if you're not familiar with it, it's a like video messenger app kind of. So our staff can record videos all day. When they log in, they can see 5 or 6 videos of staff rolling the fitness dice and completing these challenges, and they have the opportunity to do those challenges and send videos back if they want. So we're working on stuff like that. And then from the virtual vault, this is going to be where we're going to be utilizing a lot of that play where you stay material. So we want virtual field trips, different spotlight videos, or just different things that we can have there, kind of rainy day materials. So if they can't go outside and play, there's still something for them to do, or just extra resources for the parents. It could be an informational video some weeks. It could be just staff being goofy, telling their best dad joke or something like that. But from the virtual vault will just be kind of extra links and activities for them to go through. So that's typical day. Again, we are still waiting for approval, but we're hoping to provide this all for free. And then we'll be able to supplement it with other program fees and incomes like that. So last slide to wrap it up. What's your pride point? Pride point is something that we do with our day camp staff, and it's something that's important to our kind of staff culture. So doing something that you're proud of. We're proud to continue to offer programs that are consistent with what we've done. We want to make sure that we're still, even if it's virtual, even if it's there, we're connecting and keeping our community there and together, and helping them to create those memories. We want to go step by step with them as restrictions kind of go down. We can kind of offer more and more. So just doing what we're good at, doing what we do all the time. Here's my contact information, and that's what I got. I don't know if there's any questions for me.
There wasn't anything specific that was put through yet. We've got a couple that I'm going to save for the end for everybody, but looks like we can jump over to Kara.
All right, let me switch it up.
Thanks, Tammy.
Yep.
Good morning, everybody. Am I sharing? Can everyone see that? I don't know if anyone can see it or not, but okay. So hi, I'm Kara from the Neighborhood Club in Grosse Pointe. So virtual camp is still a work in progress, but here's just the quick gist of ours. So for us, we are going to do our normal 9-week camp Monday through Friday, June 15th through August 14th. We will be live, which is a little bit different than the other ones. So we are going to do a new activity every 15 minutes. Registration per week, we're a membership-based facility. So we did have to kind of go on the upper end of, you know, registration per week for what we charge. So we have member fees, family fees, and non-member fees with family fees. We do have to do a minimum of 10 campers to cover the cost, and our normal is a maximum of 40 campers, so we're kind of sticking with that normal number. We are using Zoom and Kahoot as our platforms. So with the fees, it ended up costing more than initially expected to be live, and also with Camp in a Box that everyone will receive with their registration. But after doing the math, it comes to less than what we charge per hour for normal camp. So Camp in a Box, it might look more like Camp in a Bag. That's still a work in progress. So just like Sterling Heights, you can start picking up your materials the Friday before the upcoming week. It's including crafting materials, the camp shirt for new campers each week, bingo sheets. Counselors are going to do handwritten notes. We will have science experiment instructions, but not the materials in Camp in a Box, and snack attack recipes as well that will show them how to do, but we won't include food items. Then from home, campers do have to provide their markers, glue, scissors, Legos, and also a portable device to take outside, and also for trivia. So with the schedule, so we start at 10 and it's power up time. This will include something active, and especially on Mondays to be able for each camper to introduce themselves, get to also know the counselors. So as you can see from this, it's kind of active, passive, active, passive. So then also included in the schedule will be daily challenges, weekly challenges. Each day has a theme. And then we're doing a story time every day. So by the end of the summer, they will have read or listened to a 9-book series. We're doing a Diary of a Minecraft Zombie. So then we also have Trivia Tuesdays using Kahoot, bingo. We are doing escape room Wednesdays. So basically the counselors are coming up with stories and the campers have to tell the counselors how to get out of the escape room. We're also doing Mad Lib skits and virtual field trips like roller coaster rides, national park tours. And also one of our counselors, her family has a horse, so she's gonna show how to set up and ride a horse. So this is an example of our weekly schedule. It's a lot. A lot of our all of our counselors, we've been Zooming quite a bit just to get things together we have the entire summer set at this point, which is really nice to kind of be able to just kind of focus on how to present all of this at this point. So here's just an example, just a handful of some of the ideas that we're using. One of our counselors, she is a certified Zumba instructor. We have at our facility so many instructors, so we're going to kind of utilize them as well. Simon says scavenger hunt, charades, which with charades we're going to put specific cards in Camp in a Box. Virtual swim lessons are, a couple of our counselors are also swim lesson instructors, so they'll kind of show them how to do, you know, swimming on land. TikTok dances, one of our counselors is very into the TikTok dance side of things, so she'll show how to do those dances and we'll all do them together. Balloon games. If you look up balloon games, there's a million of them to choose from. So really what we did was we sat down and played all of this out of, you know, off of their hobbies and the counselor's strengths. So even, you know, violin, ukulele, someone else knows sign language. A couple of them are writers, so they have wonderful imaginations. So we are happy to still be able to give our counselors a job this summer, even though it's less hours than they normally would have. We do have 9 staff members who will be, the schedule will go by, you know, whatever their strength is that day. So that's still being worked out. We're really wanting all of our campers to socialize, and that's the biggest part of this to us, is still get together to see their friends, especially for our campers who are only children. So we are also starting this program without our facility being open to the public. Being in Wayne County, we have no idea when we're going to be able to open. We are still hoping to have in-person camp and virtual camp simultaneously, because in-person might still be a much smaller version than what we're used to. We are also going to host a virtual parent information night that'll include some, you know, best of games and trivia, so they can kind of get an idea of what we're planning for the summer. As for an orientation for our counselors, they're coming back from prior years. I don't have any new counselors this year, so at least that kind of, they know past practices. So we'll just kind of go through so everyone's comfortable with using Zoom. We're basically, the final thought is that we're just really happy to be able to host this for our community, to offer them something. So that Lori, I'll send it back to you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. You guys, I can't even tell you how much my heart is like swelling with love and pride over all of this awesome stuff everyone's putting together. And I know everyone who's watching is also working really hard too. So just keep moving and keep going. It just makes you love our profession and the people. It's just awesome. We do have a couple of questions that have come through while you were talking that I would like any of you to address that you can. The first one is wondering if you've gotten any feedback from residents about not having child care options, and how you're sort of handling that sort of question. Open to anybody, yeah.
Tammy's had it more than me.
Yeah, I mean, so we haven't received many, I mean, not being in the office, we're getting voicemails and we're getting emails. We haven't received as much negative as you would think. I think at this point, a lot of it's expected. Like, they know that it's very limited right now on what we can do. And we've just been trying to be as upfront as we can and keep, as we get information, we kind of try to get it out there so they know where we're at and they know we're trying to move forward with things. but we haven't received as much of that as you would think, because I think people really, I mean, they might not like it, but they know it's happening right now. So that's kind of what we've been seeing, at least.
I've only gotten a couple comments on our Facebook page just saying my child has been inside long enough. We need to have outside activities. And I think if they give us a chance, for $40, it's not a big risk. If they give us a chance, they'd see that we're incorporating a lot of outside engagement as well, not just, we don't want them to be sitting in front of the screen all summer.
Right.
So a lot of what we're doing too, being live, we're getting them outside during that time as well. So we just announced that we're canceling at least the first 3 weeks. So now we're getting some interest in, okay, at least there's some, programming for my child. But people are still holding out that we'll continue in-person camp down the road.
Okay, thank you. Another question popped up about any policies or decisions about how to handle behavioral issues, inappropriate postings, cyberbullying, anything like that.
Yeah, I know we've elected to, if we have an issue, we will remove the child from the room. With Zoom, we're going to create a waiting room where they have to be invited into the room. So if we have to remove them, it would kind of flag a parent call, a contact with parent, in order for them to be able to re-enter. So we could discuss the behavior and what was taking place. So that's how we've decided to go.
Yep, same with us. Stick as close as we can to regular behavior management. So if a situation arises, then it's going to be a parent conversation and see. And if it goes further from there, then they can be removed from the program.
Yep.
Pretty much the same. Yep. Okay, thank you. Another question just came in. Could you talk a bit more about the role of part-time staff and how were you able to justify bringing back part-time staff?
As I said, I normally run 40 staff for my program in the summertime. This year I'm doing it with 4. My biggest issue was I couldn't promise someone a job if I was only going to be able to provide them with 5-6 hours a week. I mean, so that I just focused on, I'm bringing back all of my coordinators who have at least 10 years of experience with the program and relationship building with the kids. I brought in a video production person because I thought that was going to be key to make this look as professional as possible. So like I said, we're with myself included, we have 5 staff. And like I said, I feel comfortable in what I'm able to give them in terms of hours of availability. My other staff members, I have tried to relocate them in other positions throughout the city, such as park monitors and different other positions that we do still have available so they can still be employed.
Ours is similar. I know our department functions, so we function under civil service, and there's a whole process and procedure in hiring. So a lot of ours was justified by, if you want us to be able to hold programs in the fall, we use our staff from the summer. Our hiring is now, and it started like we were doing Skype interviews as we were being kicked out of the office, essentially. And we had offered tentative jobs to that regular amount of people, letting them know like, hey, we can't offer a job until we know if we can run camps. And we went from there as letting them know like, hey, we can't offer you anything right now. We went based off of seniority, and then also what they're comfortable doing. So we asked, when we sent them the letter saying we're not having camp, we said, who is comfortable being on camera? Do you have any ideas for program? Like those kind of things, trying to get more information of who would be good for these jobs, more than just like, hey, I like this staff, that, so we went top down. We went with our supervisors and stuff. And it's so we can offer programs later. They have to work for us now in order to be able to work for us later in the year. But also it's give and take. We are working with other departments. We're working with the supervisor's office. We got emails last night. Our staff's going to be helping to put on a census picnic or possibly help with elections or other things like that. So we're using them for what we do, but it's also going to help the community as a whole. They're not just doing that. So it's kind of give and take and justify in any way you can. I don't know.
So for us, everyone was hired already before everything began. So basically what I've been doing with the minimum that we it will cover putting together Camp in a Box and putting together the screen time that they'll have. And then we have 2 counselors at one time during those 2 live hours. So basically it was just, you know, what are your strengths? What are you good at? This is your day that you're going to be there. And then trying to make sure hours are as even as possible. So.
Great, thank you. I don't see any other questions coming through. Just checking our timing here. Got
Hey, Lori, I did just receive a text message from Pete in Kalamazoo asking if this was going to be available to be viewed through MParks, or if it could be, or if the presentation could be emailed to him. So
This is Tina. Yeah, this is being recorded, so we'll post it, and I should make it into eBlast today even. If the 3 of you would email me your PowerPoints, I can also include those.
Great, I will let him know.
Awesome, thanks. Also wanted to make sure that everyone watching knew that, and Tina, you might want to talk through this as well, but that MParks created a shared member file drive, and so it's organized into 2 categories, programming and facilities, and then it's broken down by regions. So you can go in and post resources, you can look at resources that other people have posted. We wanted to create something where there was a central place where people could go to get ideas and look at things like that, look at policy pieces and things like that. So Tina, is there anything you want to say about how people should be using or accessing that?
No, I think you covered it. I would just say that you do need to log into your MParks account to access it. It's a Google Drive once you log into your MParks account, but anybody can upload and download files. If you're not sure which region your agency falls in, there is a map in each of the folders, so you can see it's divided by county, so you can get an idea of that. Otherwise, I think it's pretty self-explanatory. It just launched this week, so there are very few resources to start, but we anticipate as people start actually finalizing some policies and making decisions that it'll fill out more.
Great. Yeah, we do want to encourage, if you have things to share, I'm sure other people would really appreciate seeing what you have and what you've come up with policy-wise. So I can't thank the 3 of you enough for sharing your ideas and all the hard work you've done, giving you like, yay, applause. So thank you so much. A reminder to everyone out there as well, I guess not a reminder, maybe an announcement. We are putting together another webinar, programming webinar, that's going to focus on virtual events and community outreach pieces. So if you have any requests or ideas of topics that you'd like to share within this format, please make sure to get a hold of me or one of the board members in MParks, and we can work to try and pull together something like this. I've been getting a ton of texts everybody threw on my phone from MParks members saying how much they really appreciate your time and everything that you shared with them. So thank you so much. This has been super helpful, and I hope we can continue to move forward and create resources like this. So thanks so much, everybody. Have a great day, and we'll be back in touch.
Thank you.
Thank you.